Vintage Theater. My name is Bernie Cardell. I'm the artistic director, and welcome to episode 4 of season 1 of Bernie at the Bar. Today, I'm with Dana Hart Wright, who is our director for the Hombres, which is opening tonight. How does it feel? Happy opening night.
It feels good. I have a lot of different kinds of energies coursing through my body right now.
Like what?
I'm nervous.
Okay.
I'm excited. I'm proud. I'm very proud. And just really excited.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, for the folks watching who may not have seen you here at Vintage before, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I've actually never worked on stage or directing at Vintage before. This is my first opportunity, but I'm on the Vintage board and have been for about a year. Mm-hmm. And I've performed and directed at a lot of the local Metro Denver theaters. So you might have seen me on stage or as a director in other theaters.
Yeah. What was the last thing you directed?
I directed I Love You, You're Perfect Now Change at Ovation West in Evergreen last January. Yeah.
And what do you do when you're not directing?
When I'm not directing, I coach special education teachers for a district to the east of Denver. Mm-hmm. And I also work as a freelance advocate for people with special needs and for people with disabilities.
So has your work informed your directing or directing style, or is there any crossover there?
That's a really good question. Actually, I think it's the opposite. I think my theater training, my theater work, my directing work and performing work has had a big impact on my work as an educator. I also taught for many years. I taught for 8 years before going into more of a leadership role. And I always said that being in front of a class of middle schoolers was like being a performer, probably the hardest performance job I've ever had to do, to engage kids for, an hour and 10-minute class each time. So It's actually, I've noticed, been the opposite. But I guess my advocacy work, actually that's been the opposite too. My advocacy work has been majorly impacted by my training as a theater professional.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. So the Hombres, this is a regional premiere. It's never been done here before. And so the audiences that are coming to see it will be the first audiences to see the show in the state of Colorado. So for folks who are maybe not familiar with the show, don't know what it's about, just give us a little rundown of what's going on.
So the premise of the play is there is a yoga studio with a teacher named Julian, who is also a modern dancer by trade. And next to and above the yoga studio, there's a construction project going on. They're building condos. And the construction crew that's working has easy access to look inside the yoga studio. And their main leader on the construction crew, Hector, he is very interested in how mostly the women that he mentions seem more calm and more confident and less frenetic when they leave the yoga space. And he's dealing with some of his own struggles in terms of his own personal life. And he sees that there might be benefit to he himself taking some yoga. And there's some complaints about the construction crew and so on that actually brings him into Julian's studio to meet Julian. And what ensues from there is he ends up taking classes from Julian. And I don't want to give away too many aspects of the piece, but befriends Julian, and there's his other construction worker friends and their relationship to the yoga studio and their relationship to each other. It also, the overarching themes of the play are machismo in today's society, but specifically machismo in the Latin community. It has to do with a lot of stereotypes that we have of each other. My favorite overarching theme is every human's propensity for growth and change, especially when they are actively working towards it. And it just really deals with male relationships and what society deems is the correct way to have a male relationship, for lack of a better term, and how that affects the men in the play and their relationships with each other and intimate moments they start to develop as they get to know each other better and become platonic friends. I think that would cover it.
Sounds fascinating.
Yeah. It's a beautiful, beautiful play and beautifully written too.
It is. It's a beautiful show. I saw a rehearsal the other night, and the cast is wonderful. You should all definitely come see it. So what has it been like to direct this show? This is an all-male cast. So, as a female director, what is it like to be in that room?
It's been an absolute pleasure. First of all, I have the most amazing cast. And to be perfectly transparent, I was a little concerned about like who we would be able to get to do this play. And it calls for a very specific actor. I mean, Julian is a dancer and he has to look like a dancer, and there's a dance piece in the show. And so going into going into auditions, we knew what we were looking for and we were hoping we would get it, and we did. One of the big things I looked for in the audition, but specifically the callback process, was if I could get any sense of community from those called back. I really watched how they interacted with each other in between the scenes they were reading together and on stage together. And, if somebody would mess up and they had to go back to the beginning of the scene, just their interactions as human beings with each other. And I mean, I pretty much knew who I wanted to cast as soon as callbacks were over.
Yeah.
Both because of obviously talent and skill, because you need that
Sure.
for especially for a
But
piece
also
like
the connection.
the
as you said.
connection, yes.
Yeah.
And so that's been completely a pervasive energy in the room. And I'm the only woman, but I don't feel like the only of anything. I just feel like a member of the community. And yeah, they're just a wonderful, wonderful group of people.
Well, yeah, it just sounds like it's been a great experience.
It's been a wonderful experience.
Of working with this cast.
Yeah.
Great. How would you describe your directing style?
I have training in more of the traditional methods like Lee Strasberg and Stella Adler, and even a little bit more contemporary versions of that. But I also in grad school studied very contemporary theater and creation. Like I studied moment work, and I studied with City Company in grad school and the Tectonic Theater Project. And the philosophy behind those methods, I think, has been my most important work as a director, because I see everybody in the room as an equal collaborator. And of course, it's like, the director has the big, broad vision, but within that vision, I see, and this is what happened in this piece, like a lighting moment happens and it develops part of the scene. And that's from our brilliant lighting designer, Logan.
Yeah.
Or a sound element would happen. Luke and Rick helped with sound, and a sound moment would develop the scene in a new way. I told the actors that, yes, we're going to discuss your characters and the arc of scenes and the arc of the play and the growth your characters make. And I'm going to put staging, I'm going to put you on your feet. But once we get that in our body, I want you to organically move when you feel like you want to move. And oftentimes the staging would kind of get more specific from that. I do very blanket staging.
Yeah.
Like I know an actor has to move on this line because the line speaks to that impetus,
right.
But every actor has their own things that they get from the text. And so I guess the best way you can describe my directing style is that everyone's an equal collaborator within the broader vision.
Well, it also sounds like you're really encouraging them to follow up on their instincts as an actor.
Completely. And when we first started rehearsals, after we put it on its feet and did the blocking, I did a lot of exercises that I've done as an actor, not giving acting or directing notes yet even, but just exercises to get them into the scene so that they can develop what their instincts are for each moment from that.
Well, it sounds like it just sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that we're doing it. I love that you're directing it. It's so great to have you directing here for the first time.
Yeah.
The first but not last time. What's next for you?
Oh my goodness. I honestly don't know. I can only do one project a year. I have a toddler daughter and work a full-time job.
Right.
So I think I might audition for a few things this year. Right. I committed to this project pretty early in theater season, so I knew that this would be my project for the year. Yeah. This coming year, I don't have a project like that, so I'm just gonna see what pops up,
see what comes up,
what feeds my soul, and audition for that.
What draws you?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Happy opening.
Thank you.
And the Hombres will run at Vintage Theater tonight, like I said, May 31st through July the 7th. You can get your tickets at www.vintagetheater.org. Thanks for joining us.